Dandy's World just did their midsummer update, and along with it came 3 new variants of a map that is full of lore possibilities. So today I thought we would start out in the map and talk about a few interesting things that I've noticed so far while playing on these maps. The main lore element, of course, is going to be this tape between Dandy, Delilah, and Arthur, which we will talk about in just a little bit. But first, I want to show you guys something that I noticed on this map that I did not notice until very recently. If you know where the tape room is, right over here, if you turn around and go to this elevator, take a right, avoid the shrimpo, you'll actually notice that there is a giant window in the middle of the room with nothing behind it. And you might be asking yourself, why is there a window there if there's nothing behind it? It's blocked off. I can't see. Well, actually, if you adjust your camera just right, you'll actually see through a slit in the middle of the curtain, and you can see what looks to be a shrine for Dandy, who's chasing me. In here is basically all things Dandy. You'll see the little Dandy plush right there, the big Dandy plush, there's the Dandy cardboard cutout right there, and if you look around this poster, you'll see all of the kid Dandy drawings that we've found other places in the Garden View Center. And the poster in the middle is just like the Bassie poster, except instead of all the ichor covering out everything instead of get her, it blocks out everything except for panic. Now, if you want to see what this poster looks like not covered in ichor, you can actually go into the room with the tape playing and you can see the poster right here. It says Dandy in Showtime Panic. So that poster over there is covered in ichor except for panic. Now, of course, this just leads me with so many questions, like who built this shrine and why did they build this shrine? Was it one of the tune handlers? Was it Delilah? Was it Arthur? Was it Dandy himself? I don't know. You tell me. Another potentially valuable part of this new map when it comes to the lore is this meeting room right here. We've already seen this in the teaser and we've talked about it a little bit. And I have an opinion on what I think this meeting specifically was about. I think this meeting was all about the Dandy's World plushie. If you look over on this wall, you will see all of the plushies in a line right here. It's hard to tell if this drawing right here is meant to represent the Dandy plushie or Dandy himself, but I think because of the way the face is drawn on this picture right here, I think this is saying that the plushies are gonna go up. I think this represents the plushie. So this was a business meeting regarding the Dandy's World plushies and how sales are gonna skyrocket through the roof. Also, in another variant of this map, there's a poster advertising the plushie, and it says something really interesting on the bottom that I thought I just wanted to point out. I don't know if this is new to this map or not, but I've never read this before. It says Dandy Plush and other Dandy's World products created by Garden View Entertainment contain materials that may cause health effects in sensitive individuals. Refunds are not eligible, and purchasing this item or other Dandy's World products, Garden View Entertainment is not liable for any health concerns created by the products listed in their catalog. I want to know what kind of materials they're using that may cause health problems in certain individuals. Is that a normal plushie safety regulation? I don't know. But that poster being in the map also leads me to believe that that's why this meeting is about plushies, is because there's other things talking about plushies. There's plushies on the shelf up here, and then there's a different face drawing on the Dandy right here, to me signifying a plush that's going to the moon. They're gonna be rich. Well, another interesting thing inside of this same room is the fact that Sam McLaughlin here, or however you say their name, is Employee of the Month. I thought that was pretty interesting. Also, why is the frame tilted? That is just bothering me. Who hung this? I want to know, how do you become Employee of the Month in Dandy's World? Did they just take care of their tune more efficiently than the others? Did they stay long hours after work in order to become Employee of the Month? What does Employee of the Month do? Are there special incentives for being Employee of the Month? I have so many questions. I guess it does make sense that Sam here is the Employee of the Month, because from the other dialogue that we have from the old founders photos being thrown out, right here, radio transcript number 92. Austin said, hey, didn't Delilah tell one of us to throw out those old founders photos? Shannon's like, not it. Devin's like, not it either. Arthur already has me working overtime with Dandy. And here's Sam, who said, I'll get to it eventually. Been too busy with Sprout. Can't we get janitorial to handle this? You said you would do it eventually for forever. And then Sam said, too busy making sure this place doesn't burn down. I need this job. So based on that dialogue interaction, it does sound like Sam works a lot on just the day-to-day operations of the Garden View Center. So much so that she's so busy that she doesn't even have time to throw out photos. And throwing out photos does not seem like that hard of a job. So if you're so busy you can't even do that, you must be pretty busy. Well, enough about this stuff. The last thing I want to mention before we go and talk about the tape is an interesting thing I found in a different variant of this map. If you look through the window here, you'll see that there is a puddle of ichor coming out from the door, up the shelf, and into a broken vent. I don't know exactly what the implications of that are, but I do think it's the first time we've seen a Twisted potentially crawling through a vent. Imagine there's a map in the future where we have to crawl through a vent with a Twisted chasing behind us. That would be absolutely terrifying. All right, well, the last thing we have to talk about is the most important part of this entire update, which is the tape between Delilah, Arthur, Dandy, and Little Pebble. Let's watch it again first, and then we'll talk more deeply about it. So Delilah asks, Dandy, are you still having issues with your breathing? Nope, you fixed that right last week. No issues since. Writes that down. You said you felt lonely last I took notes. Is that still true? You and Arthur are great, but it's a little lonely. Come on, Delilah, there ain't no tune like me. Writes that down. Arthur! Dandy, we'd like you to meet Pebble, just like the show. Your pet rock, remember? I do remember. Oh, Pebble. And soon, you'll have even more friends. It'll be a dream come true. Here, buddy. And Dandy, remember, your joy is my joy. All right, so things to point out right off the bat is this was recorded on August 24th, 1987. And if you remember, the personal loan application was filed on October 4th, 1984. So this event right here took place nearly 3 years after the loan application was filed. Now, we don't know if the loan application was instantly approved in 1984, but we do know that whatever this is, wherever they're standing right here, does not look like anywhere we've seen in the Garden View Center so far. So this could be in the Garden View Center, or this could be off-site from the Garden View Center. I would like to think that 3 years after the loan application, it probably is somewhere within the Garden View Center, because I imagine they have the Garden View Center at this point. But regardless, we know this is early on in the tune creation because Dandy is at this exact moment the only one that he knows about. And Delilah is still asking him if he's having trouble with his breathing, which means he's not the perfectly breathing Dandy that we know. She's still trying to work out the kinks is what I'm saying. I'm really curious to see what life was like for Dandy not being able to breathe very well. Like, was he just constantly just gasping for air? That sounds terrible. But anyway, Dandy is no longer having breathing issues. Delilah is still taking notes, trying to perfect her creation, which is Dandy at this point in time. And then asked if Dandy was still feeling lonely. And Dandy said, yeah, you know, you guys are great, which is an interesting point because it seems like they're both very nice to Dandy at this point in time, but it's a little lonely. Come on, Delilah, there ain't no tune like me. And then Arthur comes in holding Pebble, and I want to point out a little detail about Pebble. Look at his tail. Look how cute that is. It is so adorable. His little feet waddling and then his little tail going back and forth. So Arthur brings in Pebble and says, look, you got your own little friend. Here you go. And then says, your joy is my joy as the tape finishes. So not only does this tape give us a view into the beginning days of the Garden View Center and the tune creation in general, but to me, it also paints a picture of why current Dandy, the Dandy that gets upset when you don't buy things and gets twisted, it makes sense as to why he's always asking for tapes and why he's obsessed with tapes and why Twisted Dandy is even covered in tapes. These security tapes must be the tapes that he keeps talking about because these are painting a picture to the world of what happened at the Garden View Center. And if they go back like all the way back to the beginning, this tape is from 1987. And the V tape that we had before is from 2002. So imagine how many tapes and how many things there are on video between 1987 and 2002. I'm sure it's a lot. Something else interesting that I noticed too is if you look at the previous picture we've had of Delilah, everybody always points out, and of course it's easy to notice, that she has ichor leaking out of her sleeve, all over her glove, and then all over her pant legs as well. But in this tape, you can see that her hands are completely clean. She doesn't have any ichor on her hands, but she still does have ichor on her pants coming at the bottom of her shoes and up her pant leg. We still don't exactly know how Delila is making the tunes, but considering that ichor is a big part of this entire universe, we can kind of safely assume that ichor is involved. So the questions I am now left with: where did this video take place? Why was Sam the employee of the month when the Garden View Center closed down? And who made this shrine secretly behind the curtains? And why is it all about Dandy saying panic in the middle? I guess I do know one thing. I can't wait to find out. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure, as always, you leave all of your ideas, thoughts, and theories, and opinions, and everything down in the comment section below. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about all this stuff. Also, leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and of course, if you want to see more from me, go and check out the video that Pebble is looking at right now with his big bulging eyeballs. Oh my gosh, hurry. You guys have just a little bit of time before Cosmo comes and eats me. Hurry, click the video before it's too late.